Holy Name High School. But the face of Berks, of Holy Name High School basketball certainly was never going to be the same. And for that matter, the face of Berks County basketball would never be the same. By 1969, he had his first winning season. And by 1970, the Blue Jays were about to make history. Holy Name and Central Catholic at that time played as part of the Philadelphia Suburban Catholic League. They beat Archbishop Kennedy High School from Norristown to win the league title. In the state quarterfinals, they beat Bishop Shanahan from Coatesville by 1 point. The semifinals, they beat Bishop Hannon from Scranton by 3 points. And in the state final, they beat Father Geibel High School from Pittsburgh 59-58. Their final record was 27-2. We now recognize those members of the team who are here with us tonight. I'll ask you to please hold your applause to the end. Kevin Calabria, John Geese, Jim Lubas, Greg Milanic, Charlie Butch Neidert, Mike Negrini, Paul Pawelski, Ben Singleton, Mike Zuber, and their assistant coach Dave Rue. Unable to attend tonight, Anthony Gerlitz, Dennis Blessing, the late Terry Brennan, and of course their late head coach Lloyd Wolf. Speaking on behalf of the team, please welcome Kevin Calabria. And let me just tell you that if you pick up your program, you will see Kevin's manifesto of that 1970 state championship. Kevin Calabria is on the clock.
Well, these old men are getting up here. I want to thank Tiffany for some inspiring words. Very well done, Tiffany. I want to express my condolences to the Tony Zonka family. Tony and I were very good friends. Tony covered our team. And I also want to express my condolences to Jack Coon's family, who was a very good friend of mine. And I met Jack in 7th and 8th grade when we used to bowl against each other at Berks Lanes. John Geese and I were on a team. Jack was on another team. Very competitive bowler. And then we saw him in high school. It was really very cool that we got to be really close friends after that. So thank you. And I also want to mention one thing. Many of you know me as a girls basketball coach. I was the women's coach at Alberta College for 25 years. Prior to that, I was the girls coach at Holy Name High School. I got hired by Coach Lloyd Wolf the year after the 1981 field hockey state championship team, the year after. So I go to Holy Name, and it was a field hockey school when I got to Holy Name. And I had the incredible pleasure to coach Anne-Marie Rapino, Loretta Rapino, and Lisa Morella on my first ever Holy Name team. And I told them this evening, it was that experience coaching them. That was my first ever girls team out of 34 years. First ever girls team. And they made it a pleasure to coach them. They were really competitive. They were really good. I wish I had had them for 4 years. And that's what gave me the kind of the impetus to go further my career coaching women's basketball. So I do want to thank them. It was just it's a great memory to see them, and can't say enough about them. I have a few words here. Joe, Bob McCool just said keep it under 45 minutes. So I said, they said 5 minutes for all of us, by the way. Okay, so here I am. Thank you very much to the committee. Congratulations to all the Hall of Fame inductees tonight. Thank you to the Hall of Fame committee for this great honor. Thank you to our advocate who nominated us. And thank you to our families and friends who came out to see us tonight. Congratulations on your loved ones receiving this incredible award. I know you're very proud of him. And most especially, thank you all for remembering us 54 years later. 54 years later. It seems like yesterday. Yes, we are all 70, 71, 72 years old now. And 6 of them are in the Holy Name High School Hall of Fame. 4 of them are in the Berks County Basketball Hall of Fame. And now all of them are in the State Hall of Fame, which really makes me happy for everybody on this team. To get into the State Hall of Fame, by the way, Zoo, but you know that the Berks County basketball officials took out an ad congratulating you? And you thought they didn't like you. That's unbelievable. Yeah, so thank you, Berks County officials. To go into the State Hall of Fame as a player on a state championship team is very special to me. Imagine that. I actually played this game. I'm known as a coach, but I played, and I played amongst these great guys, tremendous guys. We went through, okay, you're right. It's the top honor any athlete could ever hope to achieve. To be honored with my teammates, my friends, makes me very proud. We went through a lot together for over 4 years. We played a lot of basketball. We grew up in the 60s. We watched the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show in 1964. It was the height of the Vietnam War. Woodstock was the summer before our senior year. It was an incredible time to grow up. And these guys won the state championship. They were voted one of the top 10 basketball teams in Berks County history in a 2000 Reading Eagle newspaper poll. My dad played in 1940, so that's 60 years worth of teams, and these guys were named one of the top 10 teams of all time. We'd probably like be 95th now after all those Lonnie Walker, Reading High teams and things. They were really, really good. These guys were really good. They won their first 17 games, lost 2, then ran the table with 10 wins in a row. I wrote a story about our team, as Bob just said, in today's program. I hope you enjoy reading it. It's actually double the size that it started out, Bob, believe it or not. Now, our head coach was Lloyd Wolf. Coach passed away 7 years ago. He was a great coach and became a great friend later in life. His wife, Geraldine, is here today. Mrs. Wolf, please stand up so we can acknowledge you. Coach Wolf and his wife's first child, daughter Nina, was born our senior year. How's that for being a good year for the Wolf family? And here today also is Coach Dave Rue, who was our JV coach in 10th grade. We went 19-0 that year, lost our last game at Archbishop Kennedy in Conshohocken. And we had 12 sophomores on that JV team. We went 19-1. Zoo and Terry Brennan were already starting on the varsity. We had a feature story in the newspaper. I'm sorry, Dave Rue, please stand up so we can acknowledge Coach Rue back there. Yeah. Thank you. Coach Rue, known for being a great football coach. What started the Holy Name football program when we were the first varsity team was when we were juniors. And they had a guy on that team who only played 1 year of high school football, believe it or not, because it's the only year it existed in Holy Name. His name was Dave Korsakowski. Course was all everything. They won the championship in the first year of Holy Name's existence in football. Coach Rue won 6 out of his first 10 seasons in the Inter-County League. But Dave Korsakowski was on our team when we were juniors. And he was the last guy cut by Tom Landry of the Dallas Cowboys after playing 4 years at Temple University. And a quick sidebar, we were playing junior year, and Course was he was an animal. And there was a time where he went up and got a rebound or something. He's throwing his elbows all over the place and hit Zoo right in the chest with his elbow. Zoo, even to this day, he wears a St. Christopher medal. All right, a medal. He had an, what do you call it, an engraving or something of, what? An imprint, thank you, Zoo. He's a good vocabulary guy. He had an imprint of St. Christopher on his skin. That's how hard Korsakowski hit that medal on his body. Of course, he was a tough guy. He made us tough. We had a feature story in the newspaper after every game. We had a sports writer at every one of our games, our senior year, 29 games. The Reading Eagle guys drove on our bus to go to the games. Tony Zonka, Mike Zielinski, John W. Smith, Ken Tuckey. These are legends. Terry Bickhart. This was before MikeDrago.com existed. He was just getting started, MikeDrago.com in 1970. Just kidding. We had 6 fan buses go to every one of our away games our senior year. We had 14 fan buses go to Scranton for our Eastern final. We're in the bus pulling out. We only traveled in Bieber buses, which was incredible. Bieber buses. We never drove on a yellow school bus. So when we're pulling out from Holy Name, our team, might have just wiped that out. I did. Yeah, I know. That's pretty funny. Hold on a second. And maybe everybody's happy. Okay. So, anyway, there was electricity in the halls of Holy Name High School. Some people said that we put Holy Name High School on the map. The funny thing is, years later, the kids, our buddies who were on those fan buses, 14 fan buses, said what was going on those fan buses. They had a blast. They're sitting with their girlfriends, they're having a good time, and we're like nervously going up to Scranton, you know. Another funny story is, you remember Elma Walton? I wanted to mention Elma Walton, who was our school nurse. Great woman. She passed away maybe 10 or 15 years ago. What a wonderful lady. So there were times where you kind of feel nervous in the afternoon, big game that night. So one time I leave class, I go into Mrs. Walton, I said, hey, Mrs. Walton, I'm just kind of feeling a little upset. She said, that's okay, go in the back room. Go in the back room. There's Zuber, Blessing, Nelson, already there. They're already there. They were there when we didn't have games either. They were always there. All right? So we had a blast. We're still all friends, which is really, really very cool. So let me introduce you to some of these guys here. Ben Singleton on the far right here. Ben was a junior on our team senior year. And next to him, Jim Lubis, who was also a junior on our team. And Ben told me recently that Coach Wolf gave those two guys instructions in practice is beat up on Dennis Blessing. Beat him up. Bless is not here. He said hello. I talked to him last night. Bless is 6'7", like 270 pounds when he played. He was a monster player. Really, really good player. So I think Goose took the brunt of Bless's anger after these guys are cheap shotting Bless the whole time, make him tougher. So Greg Milonic is next here. Greg was the most outstanding athlete in our senior class. Played baseball, championship team, basketball, championship team, football. And he had 7 points in the state final game off the bench, which were really, really important for us to win that game. Greg Milonic was a great player. Next to him is Mike Zuber. Yeah, no. He said this is zipper down. So anybody in the back row? You've heard Mike. Mike is a great, great friend. At one time, we're playing up at Scranton in an Eastern final. And in the game, it came down to the wire. We're down 8 with 2 minutes to go in the game. My dad leaves the gym. He says they're toast. They're done. Tears in his eyes. Walks out of the gym. Coach Wolf takes a timeout. One of the assistant coaches said to Coach Wolf, do you think we should put Dennis back in? Coach Wolf goes, I didn't know he was out. He goes back in the game. He puts on his famous 1-2-1-1 zone press. Terry Brennan gets a steal. We get a basket. Terry Brennan gets another steal at half court, another basket. Terry, we scored a couple baskets, pull within one. Terry gets another steal at half court. Throws it to some little Italian kid from West Reading, hair on his legs, 5'7". Left-handed layup, and they said I couldn't use my left hand. Well, that was a left-handed layup, just so you know. Terry Brennan passed away about 10 years ago. He was the only Division I basketball player in Holy Name history. Played at St. Francis College. He got to St. Francis and he said, and his brother Jack, representing his brother. Jack was a year older than us, played on our junior year team. Terry got to St. Francis and he said he scrimmaged against Kevin Porter and Norm Van Leer, I guess, had already graduated. He said he came back to his dorm room and started crying. He said, I can't guard those guys. They both played the NBA for like 10 years, so they were really good players. So Mike Zuber, you already heard, a great friend, a character. So in that Scranton game, we're up like 7-8 in the first half. Zuber wasn't scoring. I had a couple baskets. Terry was scoring. Everybody was scoring. I'm bringing the ball up the court, and Zuber again, give me the ball! Give me the ball! That's Mike Zuber. He was on the right-hand side of me. He scored 1,000 points. Terry Brennan was on the left side of me. He scored 500 points because I couldn't go left. So that's how the point distribution was set up. This is John Geese right here, also a co-captain with Mike Zuber. John Geese, 6'5", had his own fan club at Holy Name High School. He did. Freshmen loved him. John is the most likable person on earth. We all still like him. He owns the Goose Cigar Lounge down in Limerick, so he's still working. I think he's going to get a hip or else he's going to hit somebody with that thing, John. So Goose was a team captain with Zoo, great guy. Jack Brennan here. Mike Negrini is next in line. Mike was a junior. And you know what, Mike, and you didn't hear this story, but I had breakfast with Greg Malonic just in the last 2 weeks. I said, Greg, I don't remember what happened at the end of the state final game. Mike Negrini, as a junior off the bench, had 5 points in the state final and got some key rebounds late in that game. Mike Negrini was instrumental in us pulling that game out. Great job, Mike. Next to Mike is Charlie Butch Neidert, a West Reading guy like me, came off the bench. He had achieved his greatest basketball glory after we all left high school because he kept playing and is already in this Hall of Fame with the Monarchs team. Charlie Neidert, great friend, great baseball player also. And the fellow at the end is the Minister of Defense, Paul Pavelski. Paul Pavelski had 20 points and 20 rebounds in the state championship game right there. He's a many Hall of Fame. Let me just tell one more story about Dennis Blessing. We're playing in the state quarterfinals, and Bishop Shanahan had a 6'6", 6'7" guy named Kevin Fury, full scholarship to St. Joe's. Dennis Blessing was 6'7", about the same height. In that game, Dennis Blessing had 25 points, and Kevin Fury had 1 point. And we win by 1. Blessing said the next year he's playing in college, and they scrimmage St. Joe's freshmen. And he said the first time down the court, Kevin Fury punched me in the face. It's a true story. Imagine that. That's pretty funny. And one other story, Zoom in the state championship game. We're down 13 at halftime. Their best player, a guy named Dennis Lowe, is now Zoom's best friend. He had 20 points in the first half. Coach Wolf is probably his greatest coaching maneuver of all time. He put Zuber on Dennis Lowe to cover him in the second half. Dennis Lowe did not score in the second half, and we won by 1. So Mike Zuber right there. Anybody have anything to say? No? Said it all, and I even lost my notes. Thank you very much for remembering us.